What do you truly know to be real? Is there anything that you can truly say exists outside of your mind? You might think that's a stupid question. Of course you know things that are real. You wake up in a bed every morning and go to sleep in it every night. You love someone and they love you. You drive a car. Or simply, you think, therefore you are. And since you are real and the world around you is real, you have to take the world very seriously. Because the world is a serious place. So you have to suffer it because everyone suffers at some point. You have to mourn losses and mistakes because those things are sad and bad. You definitely have to worry about what will happen tomorrow. And it just feels so good to be angry about what happened yesterday. So life ends up feeling so heavy and so difficult, reinforcing why you take life so seriously to begin with. Can you truly say that any of that happened outside of the confines of your mind? Every touch is processed as a signal sent to the brain. The hand never actually feeling or touching anything, just electrons repelling electrons. Everything you see is just signals from the retina based on photons bouncing off items and then meeting and sending signals into the retina. And everything, whether it's a person you love, a couch you sit on, a house you live in, or a street you walk on, is actually just atoms. And your eyes and your body is simply engaging and witnessing waves and particles given form in the mind. What if what we think of the world isn't how we were supposed to think of the world? What if all the painful and horrible things that ever happened to us in life weren't an absent God's painful plan or the callousness of the universe? Instead, what if there was a greater truth? All the struggles in life, all the losses that just keep coming again and again and again, what if none of it was what we think it is? How does life change, or does it change at all? Most people seem perfectly content in living life as they experience it, accepting the pain, trying to enjoy the happy moments. So why even bother with the truth? The truth is that there isn't a grand reason. Life will do what life will do regardless. But when you understand the truth of your existence, when you actually understand what is, what you suffer in life, what you struggle with, what feels so challenging about living day to day sometimes, suddenly becomes a lot easier and a whole lot calmer. Life is like an illusion, at least the things we attach ourselves to so frequently. There is truth of what is happening, then there's what we think of what we see happening. Like a magician making something disappear, the item does disappear from view, but it didn't violate any laws of physics in doing it, which is a complicated way of saying what you see isn't what you get. On a scientific level, if we were to take a look at the human form down to the atomic nature of our being, we would see that everything is nothing more than atoms, moving about in a series of cause and effects that have been playing out since the first 320,000 years of the universe's existence. If we zoom back a bit, and we're cells, of which 60% isn't us at all, and yet entire organisms in our stomach can alter our mood and affect our mind. Zoom back more, and you have the reality that you perceive and engage with. And when you realize that everything is playing its own role, that every form of your existence is in its own way something doing its own thing, that reality takes on so many different forms and appearances just within the worlds we can observe, then it's kind of easy to understand why this life is an illusion, and a very convincing one, often keeping us stuck in suffering this life instead of experiencing it. But when you can accept that perhaps reality isn't this, then you're free to begin to experience what reality is, and in that experience, the truth of your existence. But in order to do that, you have to stop making the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to understanding reality. You confuse your sense of self with who you truly are. Everything that your mind constructs of reality revolves around the idea you've created you, that your experiences are your experiences, that your life is the life you are living. But the truth is there is no self to be found in the brain, and yet we appear to have consciousness. What you think of as you is nothing more than experiences and beliefs in which your brain interpreted and created meaning to. They're then reinforced through memories that continually reconstruct the event Memories which are altered by the mood that you're in or the current place that you're in your life to what meaning you've given these past events in your life. We are not this identity that we show to the world. In fact, so often we're not even the same person from work life to home life. We are always putting on a mask, being what we think is needed for the moment, and yet we continue to think of these characters as us, or we think we're something else playing the character, never realizing that that other thing is just another character. And in the end, none of these things are the true you. And when you understand that all your stories, all the thoughts of you, are not you, then you can begin to see the truth of reality. That beneath everything, beneath all that you see as you, beneath all the molecules and bacteria moving about and affecting your choices, beneath the atoms playing out cause and effect for 13.8 billion years, there is something that just is. Because when you strip away everything you think, when you let go of all that you know, when you realize that nothing in this world is as your mind makes it, when you can sit in the dark and be alone in the silence of your mind, letting everything else fall away, letting your thoughts come and go and not attaching yourself to them, then something appears. That which you are, no matter what happens. That which you've always been. The foundation of all that you were, are, and will become. The true self. Reality taking form. The universe observing itself. Infinity. And when you find that true self, the Atman in Hinduism, the one mind in Zen Buddhism, the Tao in Taoism, the eternal now, you realize that everything just is. That everything always is taking shape and form right now. That the only thing that is real is this. And in that you realize there is no suffering. For how we define the world and what happens is only a product of our mind. And in understanding that, letting go of everything, experiencing the moment in its fullest and most sincere form, no longer trying to define the world, but rather just live in it. And in that, live a life of freedom, live a life of joy, live fearlessly, live knowing you are not broken. You realize you are not flawed. Those are just more thoughts of reality. You are perfect and complete, and you deserve to truly know that.